Government increases age limit for entry into public services to 32, allowing candidates to appear for BCS examinations maximum 3 times. Dana turns into a severe cyclonic storm. Coastal administration gets ready to face the cyclone, likely to make landfall in the Indian states of Odisha and West Bengal. Students cheer over banning of Chhatra League as a terrorist organisation. Banning is not enough. Those involved in murder and torture should be tried, says BNP leaders. TCB begins sales of essentials at subsidised rates in the capital today. Government to take initiatives to establish agricultural markets to curb price hikes, says Labour advisor. Nearly 800 Palestinians killed and more than 1,000 injured in 19 days of Israeli strikes and siege on Jabalia camp in Gaza. And South Africa take a 1-0 lead in the series, beating Bangladesh by 7 wickets in the Mirpur Test. Assalamu alaikum. Those were glimpses from the major stories covered in tonight's News at 10. I'm Mahmoud Rahman. We move on to the details. The interim government has decided to set the maximum age limit for entering public service at 32 years. The Council of Advisors took the decision at a meeting with Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus at the Chief Advisor's office in the capital today. Members of the Advisory Council were present. The draft of the age limit ordinance was approved in principle and finalised following discussions in the Advisory Council meeting. The maximum age limit for entry into all cadres of the Bangladesh civil service, as well as all government jobs, will be set at 32 years. For autonomous and semi-autonomous organisations, the respective recruitment rules will be applied with necessary adaptations. In the case of defence services and law and order forces, their respective recruitment rules will remain in effect. In addition, changes are coming to the employment regulations and limits are being placed on the Bangladesh civil service exams. Now, a candidate will be able to sit for the BCS exam a maximum of 3 times. The Advisory Council also decided that no one will be able to go to Hajj with government expenditure this year. After the meeting, Environment, Forest and Climate Change Advisor Sayyida Rizwana Hassan briefed reporters at Foreign Service Academy this evening. Chief Advisor Special Assistant Mahfouja Alam and Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam were present. Sayyida Rizwana Hassan said the issue of the President's resignation was discussed in the Advisory Council. She said the decision could be reached on the basis of consensus with political parties.
রাষ্ট্রপতির বিষয়ে আজকে কিছু আলোচিত হয়েছে কিনা বিষয়টি আলোচিত হয়েছে রাষ্ট্রপতি কি বলেছেন সেটাও আমাদের নজরে আনা হয়েছে রাষ্ট্রপতির পদত্যাগের দাবিতে যে একটা আন্দোলন হচ্ছে তার পদত্যাগের যে একটা দাবি উঠেছে সেটাও বিবেচিত হচ্ছে একই সাথে কিছু রাজনৈতিক দল যে রাষ্ট্রপতির পদত্যাগে সাংবিধানিক সংকট হতে পারে বলে অভিমত ব্যক্ত করেছেন সেটাও আমাদের মধ্যে আলোচিত হয়েছে এবং ওই দলেরই আবার হয়তো দুই একজন জ্যেষ্ঠ নেতা বলছেন যে সাংবিধানিক সংকট হবে না ফলে বিষয়টা নিয়ে আমাদের মধ্যে আলোচনা হয়েছে এবং রাজনৈতিক দলগুলোর সাথেও আলোচনা চলছে রাজনৈতিক দলগুলোর সাথে ঐক্যমতের ভিত্তিতেই এক্ষেত্রে একটা সিদ্ধান্তে আমরা পৌঁছাতে পারবো বলে আশা করি এবছর সরকারি অর্থে কেউ হজে যাবে না হজ ব্যবস্থাপনার জন্য যাদেরকে যেতে হয় তারা যাবে তাছাড়া সরকারি অর্থে যে হজে যাওয়া সেটা এবছর কেউ যাবে না হজের ব্যয় কমানোর চেষ্টা করা হচ্ছে যতটা সম্ভব হজযাত্রীদের ব্যয় কমানোর চেষ্টা করা হবে হজের প্যাকেজ হয়তো এই মাসের শেষেই ঘোষিত হবে তখন আপনারা দেখতে পারবেন যে আমরা কতটা কমাতে পেরেছি সরকারি চাকরিতে প্রবেশের সর্বোচ্চ বয়সসীমা সেখানে নীতিগত সিদ্ধান্ত হয়েছে যে সরকারি চাকরিতে প্রবেশের সর্বোচ্চ সময়সীমা হবে 32 এবং 3 বারের বেশি বিসিএস এর মতন পরীক্ষাতে কেউ অংশগ্রহণ করতে পারবে না বিভিন্ন আইন শৃঙ্খলা বাহিনী তাদের যে নিজস্ব নিয়ম আছে সেই নিজস্ব নিয়ম মেনেই তারা নিয়োগ দেবেন। আর সিভিল সার্ভিসের বাইরে যত ক্যাডারের চাকরিতে প্রবেশ সেগুলোরও সর্বোচ্চ বয়স সীমা 32 হিসাবে বিবেচিত হবে।
আগামীকালকে কয়েকটা সংবাদপত্রে হামলার বিষয়ে একটা অ্যাপ্রিহেনশন আছে। আমাদের স্বরাষ্ট্র মন্ত্রণালয় থেকে আমি একটু শুনেছি যে ওনারা একটা বিবৃতি ইস্যু করেছেন এবং আমাদের দিক থেকে স্পষ্ট ভাষায় আমরা বলে দিতে চাই যে কোনো রকম সংবাদ মাধ্যমের উপরে ফ্রিডম অফ এক্সপ্রেশনের কোনো ধরনের আঘাত এই সরকার বরদাস্ত করবে না। যে কোনো কোয়ার্টার থেকে যদি এরকম কোনো রকম আঘাত আসার সম্ভাবনা থাকে আমরা আইনগত ব্যবস্থা নিব। আরেকটা বিষয় আমি বলে দিই সাংবাদিকদের, সংবাদ মাধ্যমকে আপনাদের মাধ্যমে, যে ছাত্রলীগ এখন আইনত নিষিদ্ধ একটি সংগঠন। তো ছাত্রলীগের প্রচার প্রসার এসব বিষয়ে আইনগত বেরিয়ে আছে। আমরা মনে করি আপনারা আপনাদের এই দিকটা আপনারা খেয়াল রাখবেন যাতে সন্ত্রাসী সংগঠনের প্রচারে আপনারা ভূমিকা না রাখেন।
The severe cyclonic storm Dana over Northwest Bay and adjoining area moved north-northwestwards and now lies over the same area. The storm was centered at 6 p.m. today, about 555 kilometers southwest of Chattogram Port, 540 kilometers southwest of Cox's Bazar Port, 385 kilometers southwest of Mongla Port, and 405 kilometers southwest of Paira Port. It is likely to move north-northwestwards further and may cross North Odisha, West Bengal coast of India between Puri and Sagar Island around midnight tonight. Under the effect of the severe cyclonic storm, heavy to very heavy rainfall with gusty or squally wind is likely over North Bay, offshore islands, chores and coastal areas of the country. The maximum sustained wind speed within 64 kilometers of the cyclone center is about 90 kilometers per hour, rising to 110 kilometers per hour in gusts or squalls. Sea will remain rough near the cyclone centers. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Mongla and Paira have been advised to keep hoisted local cautionary signal number 3. I repeat, local cautionary signal number 3. In a special bulletin, the Met Office said under the peripheral effect of the severe cyclonic storm and steep pressure gradient, the low-lying areas of the coastal districts of Satkira, Khulna, Bagirhat, Borguna, Borishal, Jhalokati, Pirojpur, Potuakhali, Bhola, Lokhipur, Noakhali, Feni, Chattogram and Cox's Bazar and their offshore islands and chores are likely to be inundated by a surge of 2 to 3 feet height above normal astronomical tide. All fishing boats and trawlers over North Bay and deep sea have been advised to remain in shelter till further notice. Meanwhile, the Indian authorities have shut schools, evacuated hundreds of thousands of people and cancelled trains in parts of the country as rescue teams brace today for a tropical storm brewing in the Bay of Bengal. Tropical storm Dana is expected to intensify, bringing winds of 100 to 110 kilometers per hour and gusts up to 120 kilometers per hour as it pushes towards the country's eastern coastline, where it is set to make landfall tonight. The storm is expected to affect most parts of the eastern state of Odisha, which saw strong winds and rain this morning. Authorities have closed schools, cancelled more than 200 trains, suspended flights and warned fishermen not to venture out to sea. Downpours also began lashing areas of neighbouring West Bengal state, where some districts are also likely to be hit, prompting officials there to be on high alert. In Odisha, around 3 lakh people have been evacuated from vulnerable areas, adding that 3 districts were likely to be severely affected. Students of different educational institutions have cheered over the banning of Chhatraleague as a terrorist organisation. Common students welcomed the Gazette notification of the Home Ministry banning Chhatraleague. Talking to BTV, they said, with the decision of the Home Ministry, the students' community has become stigma-free. The students said they don't want to see a revival of any fascist force in the days to come. On October the 6th in 2019, leaders and activists of the Chhatraleague killed Buet student Abrar Fahad by beating him mercilessly at a hall for his dissenting opinions on Facebook. On December the 9th in 2012, tailoring shop employee Bishwajit was stabbed to death near Bahadur Shah Park in Old Part of Dhaka by Chhatra League men for allegedly being an activist of Chhatra Shibir. Chhatra League turned into a notorious student organization, especially for its activities in the past 15 years, including killings, extortion and violence. BNP leaders have said banning Chhatra League would not be enough. Rather, all those of the student organizations involved with killing and repression should be brought under the purview of law. The leaders raised the demand at a discussion titled Cancellation of All the False Cases Against Begum Khaleda Zia and Tariq Rahman through Executive Order. Jatiyotawadi Ganatantrik Party organized the program in the capital today. Presided over by Chairman of the organization, S.M. Shahadat Hussain, the function was also addressed by BNP Standing Committee member Salima Rahman, Chairperson's advisor Joinal Abdin Farooq and Chairman of Jatiyotawadi Shamamuna Jot and NPP Dr. Fariduzzaman Farhad. The leader said that no constitutional crisis exists at present and national election is now needed most. They demanded holding of election through formulating reform outlines immediately. Labour and Employment Advisor Asif Mahmood Shajib Bhuiya said interim government will take initiatives to establish Krishi Bazar to deliver farmers' products directly to consumers and break market syndicate. He said this while inaugurating TCB's sale of essentials at subsidised rates at 50 places in the capital today. The Labour advisor said the prices of daily commodities are increasing in the market due to various other reasons, including floods. The public suffers more as a result of hoarding and syndicate manipulation that drives up the prices of daily necessities. The government will take stern action against the manipulators, he added. Commerce Secretary Mohammed Salimuddin and TCB Chairman Brigadier General Mohammed Mustafa Iqbal were present on the occasion. Environment, Forest and Climate Change Advisor Sayyida Rizwana Hassan has stressed the need for involving local communities in dolphin conservation efforts. She called for increased public awareness and effective implementation of government initiatives to protect dolphins. Sayyida Rizwana Hassan made these remarks while speaking as the chief guest at a discussion on the occasion of International Freshwater Dolphin Day held at the Forest Department at Agargaon in the capital today. Secretary of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Dr. Farhina Ahmed, and Director General of the Department of Fisheries, Mohammad Zillur Rahman, spoke at the meeting held with Chief Conservator of Forests, Mohammad Amir Hussain Chaudhry, in the chair. The Environment Advisor announced the results of a dolphin survey which estimated the presence of about 636 groups or 1,352 Ganges River dolphins. A dolphin exhibition and documentary were also presented at the event. The Appellate Division has fixed November the 17th for hearing on 3 separate review petitions over the cancellation of the caretaker government system, which was abolished through the 16th Amendment to the Constitution. The hearing was initially scheduled for today, but Attorney General Mohammad Asaduzzaman sought a 4-week deferral, prompting the court to reschedule it. The upcoming hearing will take place before a 6-member bench led by Chief Justice Syed Rifat Ahmed. Earlier, on October the 20th, the Appellate Division's Chamber Judge had set October 24 as the date for hearing 2 of the petitions challenging the ruling on the abolition of the caretaker government system. The review petitions address the cancellation of the system, which was previously enshrined in the 13th Amendment to the Constitution in 1996. One of the petitions was filed by Dr. Bodiul Alam Mojumdar, Secretary of Shushashoner Jonno Nagorik, Shujon, in August this year. On October the 16th, BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir also submitted a separate review petition, followed by Jamaat-e-Islami on October the 23rd. The caretaker government system was introduced through the 13th Amendment in 1996 to ensure neutral oversight of national elections. But in 2011, the Appellate Division, led by the then Chief Justice A.B.M. Khairul Haq, declared the system unconstitutional and abolished it. The court did, however, allow for the 10th and 11th general elections to be held under a caretaker government, depending on parliamentary consensus over the appointment of the chief advisor. Since the abolition of the system, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, and its allies have persistently demanded its reinstatement. The then ruling Awami League, on the other hand, firmly rejected these calls. A court in Dhaka today scrapped a case against BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia and 3 others over the death of 42 people across the country during BNP's blockade program and general strikes in 2015. Dhaka Additional Chief Metropolitan Magistrate Ziaudur Rahman passed the order accepting a police report filed in this regard. A.B. Siddiq, President of Janonetri Porishad, filed the case with Dhaka Metropolitan Magistrate Court on February the 2nd, 2015. The court later ordered Gulshan Police Station to file a report. The investigation officer submitted his report on September the 21st, 2024, saying allegations brought against the accused under sections 302, 34, 109 of the Penal Code were not found to be true. During the regime of the fascist Awami League government, it was a common phenomenon to detain people of dissenting opinions, as well as killings and enforced disappearances by the law enforcers. The ousted autocratic government used the law enforcement agencies in its own interests. They killed hundreds of people. Family members of the victims cannot forget those horrific days. At a human chain in front of the Jatiyo Press Club today, family members of victims have demanded exemplary punishment to the culprits through investigation. Now, international news. Israeli strikes across Gaza killed 42 people yesterday as Israeli forces intensified a siege of northern parts of the Palestinian enclave surrounding hospitals and refugee shelters and ordering residents to head south. Israeli forces began the operation in the region about 3 weeks ago with a declared aim of preventing Hamas fighters from regrouping. The operation has intensified since the killing of Hamas chief Yahya al-Sinwar a week ago. Israel's allies, including the United States, have said they hoped Sinwar's death could provide a fresh impetus for peace by allowing Israel to declare that it had achieved some of its major objectives in Gaza. But so far, Israeli forces seem to have only intensified their assault, especially on the northern areas, where Israel says Hamas fighters are regrouping in ruins of areas that were among the first targeted by Israel's campaign last year. The Israeli military announced last Friday it had sent another army unit to Jabalia on the northern edge of Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held talks in Qatar, a key mediator in the Gaza war, as he seeks to build momentum for a ceasefire after Israel's killing of the leader of Hamas. After meeting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem, Blinken flew to Saudi Arabia and then Qatar, where he will seek assessments of where Hamas stands on a truce. Reports say Blinken discussed renewed efforts to secure the release of the hostages and end the war in Gaza with the Gulf state's Emir, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the State Department said. He later went into talks with Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani, with whom he held a joint news conference. Reports say efforts continue among Qatar, the US and Egypt to reach a ceasefire in Gaza and release Israeli captives and Palestinian prisoners. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said the Middle East was on the verge of full-scale war. He made this comment while addressing BRICS summit in the Russian city of Kazan. Mentioning the military action that started a year ago in Gaza has now spread to Lebanon, other countries in the region are also affected, Putin told a meeting in Kazan attended by several world leaders. Putin said the level of confrontation between Israel and Iran has sharply risen. This is all reminiscent of a chain reaction and puts the whole Middle East on the verge of full-scale war. Violence in the Middle East will not end until the creation of an independent Palestinian state, Putin said at the summit, attended by Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas. The key demand for restoring peace and stability on Palestinian territories is carrying out the two-state formula approved by the UN Security Council and General Assembly, the Russian president said. He added that this would be correcting the historical injustice towards the Palestinian people. 5 people were killed and 22 others wounded in a terrorist attack at the Turkish aerospace industry's headquarters in the capital city Ankara yesterday. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya said both attackers were killed after the attack, adding 2 of the injured are in critical condition. TV broadcasters showed footage of armed assailants entering the TUSAS building near Ankara. Yerlikaya said the perpetrators were highly likely members of the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK. Turkish air forces conducted airstrikes in northern Iraq and northern Syria and destroyed 32 PKK targets, the Defense Ministry said late on Wednesday, adding that many PKK members were killed. Saudi Arabia held military exercises with Iran and other countries recently in the Sea of Oman, the Saudi Defense Ministry spokesman said in a statement. Iranian state media on Sunday reported that Iran was part of a military drill in the northern Indian Ocean alongside Russia and Oman, as well as 6 observer countries, including Saudi Arabia. The 2 Middle East rivals, which have long backed opposing sides in conflict zones across the region, severed diplomatic ties in 2016. However, Shiite Muslim-dominated Iran and Sunni-majority Saudi Arabia resumed relations last year under a surprise China-brokered deal, even as Riyadh appeared poised to sign a normalization deal with Tehran's arch-foe, Israel. Bangladesh's foreign reserve is increasing due to the various measures taken by the interim government, including the increase of remittances. According to the central bank data, Bangladesh's foreign currency reserves now stands at $24.97 billion. As per the International Monetary Fund, IMF, Bangladesh's foreign reserve stands at $20 billion. The amount is equal to Bangladesh's 3 months' import bills. Bangladesh's foreign exchange reserve has been falling for more than a year due to higher import payments and lesser export earnings and remittance inflows. However, reserve has started to increase after the fall of the Awami League government. Instead of using hundi, expatriates are now sending their money through legal channels. Bangladesh is also expected to get a $3 billion loan from the IMF for reforms in the financial sector. The High Court today formed a 3-member committee to probe allegations of irregularities in allocating plots at Purvachal for ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her family members. A High Court division bench comprising Justice Fatima Najib and Justice Shigdar Mahmudul Razi passed this order, also issuing a rule in this regard. The court came up with the order after holding hearing on a writ petition. Headed by retired High Court Justice Miftauddin Chaudhry, the 2 other members of the committee are lawyer Joshimuddin Sarkar and engineer Alamgir Hassin. The committee has been asked to probe allegations of irregularities in allocating Rajuk plots from 2009 to 2024. The country ordered the Housing and Public Works Secretary to submit the committee's report before it in the next 4 months. The court also issued a rule asking the authorities concerned to explain why it shall not pass an order for legal action by the Anti-Corruption Commission against the culprits involved in plot allocation irregularities and the beneficiaries. 10 Supreme Court lawyers filed the writ petition on September the 11th. Advocate Mohammad Misbauddin moved the plea before the court, while Deputy Attorney Generals Mohammad Mujibur Rahman and Nur Mohammad Azmi argued for the state. The 12-party alliance held a meeting with BNP Liaison Committee at party chairperson's Gulshan office today. Presided over by Liaison Committee Chief and BNP Standing Committee member Nosrul Islam Khan, the meeting was attended by BNP Standing Committee member Begum Salima Rahman, BNP Vice Chairman Mohammad Shah Jahan and Abdul Awal Mintu. Leaders of various other parties, including 12-party alliance chief and chairman of Jatiyo Party Mustafa Jamal Haidar, LDP Secretary General Shahadat Hussain Selim, Chairman of Bangladesh Jatiyo Dal Syed Ehsanul Huda, Secretary General of Jamaat-e Ulema-e-Islam Mufti Ghulam Mahiuddin Ikram, and Chairman of Bikolpodhara, Bangladesh Professor Nurul Amin Bepari were present at the meeting. Speaking on the occasion, 12-party alliance chief Mustafa Jamal Haidar called for tackling the country's new critical situation, upholding the spirit of July-August Student People movement. Later, Jatiyotawadi Shomomona Jot met with the BNP Liaison Committee. The newly appointed Secretary, Begum Mahbooba Farzana, exchanged views at a meeting with the officials of Information and Broadcasting Ministry. The meeting was held in the conference room of the Ministry this morning. Speaking on the occasion, the Information and Broadcasting Secretary said all officials will have to work as a team to achieve the goals and objectives of the Ministry. The Secretary also said the present government has taken charge of running the country following the revolution of students, mass people. So countrymen have expectations of the government officials, she added. The newly appointed Information Secretary called upon the officials to carry out their responsibilities with integrity, fairness and professionalism to meet those expectations. During the meeting, heads of the Ministry's various departments and organizations briefed the Secretary about their activities and existing problems of their institutions. A three-day-long 21st BDC-JDC Pre-Worlds Debate Competition began at St. Joseph High School in the capital today. Professor Ghulam Rabbani of the Department of History, Jahangirnagar University, attended the opening ceremony as chief guest. Among others, Brother Leo Pereira, Principal of St. Joseph High School, Nipu Hubert Rosario, Vice Principal, and Dr. Humayun Kabir, Chief Moderator of St. Joseph Debating Club, spoke on the occasion. Speakers at the programme opined the debate competition is a valuable experience which, beside education, creates awareness and confidence, shapes personality and teaches freedom of opinion. The organisers informed that the winners of this debate competition will get the chance to participate in the World Debating Competition in Panama. Now some sports news. Bangladesh lost to South Africa by 7 wickets in the first test of the two-match series in Mirpur today. With this defeat, Bangladesh are trailing 1-0 in the series. Chasing a victory target of 106 runs, South Africa reached their target, losing only 3 wickets. Earlier, Bangladesh started the fourth day's play in the second innings at 283 runs for 7 wickets. The Tigers were all out for 307 in the second innings, adding only 24 runs to the total score. Mehdi Hassan Miraz was out for 97. South Africa scored 308 runs in reply to Bangladesh's 106 runs in the first inning. Kyle Verreynne, who scored 114 runs in the first innings, was adjudged man of the match. The second and last test will start from October the 29th in Chattogram. India are trailing by 243 runs against New Zealand at stumps of day 1 in the second test of the 3-match series in Pune. At the end of the day, India had scored 16 runs for 1 wicket in their first innings. Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal are at the crease with 10 and 6 runs respectively. Earlier, New Zealand won the toss and elected to bat. They were bowled out for 259 in their first innings. Devon Conway scored 76 and Rachin Ravindra scored 65 for the Kiwis. Washington Sundar took 7 wickets and Ravindrachand Ashwin took 3 wickets for India. New Zealand are leading 1-0 in the series. Pakistan are trailing by 194 runs against England at stumps of the first day of the third and final test in Rawalpindi. At the end of the day, Pakistan scored 73 runs for 3 wickets in their first innings. Shan Masood and Saud Shakil are both at the crease on 16 runs. Earlier, England won the toss and batted first. They were bowled out for 267 in their first innings. Jamie Smith scored 89 runs. Sajid Khan took 6 wickets while Luman Ali bagged 3 for Pakistan. The 3-match series is levelled at 1-1. To wind up the bulletin, here once again are the main points. Government increases age limit for entry into public services to 32, allowing candidates to appear for BCS examinations maximum 3 times. Dana turns into severe cyclonic storm. Coastal administration gets ready to face the cyclone, likely to make landfall in the Indian states of Odisha and West Bengal. Students cheer over banning of Chhatra League as a terrorist organization. banning is not enough. Those involved in murder and torture should be tried, say BNP leaders. TCB begins sales of essentials at subsidized rates in the capital today. Government to take initiatives to establish agricultural markets to curb price hikes, says Labour advisor. Nearly 800 Palestinians killed and more than 1,000 injured in 19 days of Israeli strikes and siege on Jabalia camp in Gaza. And South Africa take a 1-0 lead in the series, beating Bangladesh by 7 wickets in the Mirpur Test. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for being with us. If you can, please do join us for our 11:30 news in Bangla